Actually pretty simple once you break it down, and the amount of control you can have over how your texture renders is pretty staggering. There's virtually no limit to what kind of materials you can concoct inside the material editor using the massive palette of pre-made nodes. And if you feel a bit lost, there are countless tutorials online on how to make some pretty cool looking materials inside Unreal so that you can quickly get your project looking how you want it to. Taking things a step further, you can create master materials and material instances inside Unreal to further streamline your development process. Think of a master material as a material prefab. You would build it like any other normal material, but using parameter nodes that are accessible outside the material itself. You would set up the material to have access to several texture inputs along with quite a few other options that will let an artist create a custom looking material without ever needing to open the actual material editor. A master material might contain dozens of different texture options and settings, but when you set up your material instance, you only use what you need. For example, if you have a basic rock, you might just want to use the standard texture set and maybe the albedo tint. But let's say you wanted some sort of crazy sci-fi rock. Well, you could use the same material instance, but activate the emissive options to allow you to add some glowing text to your rock. Besides saving you the time of creating a new material with every asset you import, master materials are great for keeping things organized, consistent, and updated. If you make a change to the master material, it will update every material instance referencing it. This way, if you or your tech artist adds a cool new feature to the master material, you'll see it added to your material instance as soon as you update it, instead of changing dozens if not hundreds of materials manually. Master materials are remarkably powerful and a huge time saver. Up until recently, I would have said that Unity's material system was a bit one-dimensional and lacked the type of customization you'd get with Unreal. Before, if you needed your material to do something that the standard Unity materials didn't offer, you'd have to either write or purchase a custom shader. But once again, Unity is closing the gap between the
just here, and these are all grabbed from the Megascans website. And I'll get some rocks here as well. And that should be enough for this first pass. And let's just check out the scale. So these branches are way too big. I'll just remove those for now. That is good. Just make sure the density is a bit lower. So try 50 instead of 200. Still too high. Maybe 15. See if that works. It's looking a bit better. Just gonna reduce the density of the rocks as well. Maybe 100 instead. That is good. Right, so what I want to do is I want these mainly on the edges of the road here, because that's probably where they would gather in real life. So because here you're walking and driving and stuff like that, so I mainly want them to be around here. We can already see it blending with the assets we placed there before. And I'll also place some up here on the edges as well. I'll place one or two here in the middle as well. Alright, so let's exit this foliage mode and hit build here and see how it looks once we've got some better lighting going on. But we can already see it's looking way more natural now, and it's gonna be even better once we get some nice tall grass and stuff like that in there, along with some leaves. Actually, before building, I just realized we should add some leaves as well. I have some leaves here already loaded, so I'll just disable everything except those, and I'll go in here. I have some scattered leaves here, and these are also grabbed from the Megascans website. In my experience, it usually turns out better than dynamic lighting, but the only downside, as I just mentioned, is that you have to wait for it. Once you start baking, once you've baked a few times, you start getting an idea for what it's gonna look like once you actually do bake. So you don't have to bake as frequently. You can sort of imagine it beforehand. Look at that. And just a couple of leaves here in the middle as well. I'll just actually make an entire line here and just delete them instead by holding shift and clicking. Something like that. Okay, so now we can hit bake. Exciting. And boom, look at that. Awesome. Time to add some other types of foliage. So I'm gonna try and find some grass here. I'll start off by disabling all of these. Select, here are some grasses. This one, and I'll use this one as well. And let's see how it looks. I'm gonna reduce the size here to around 40. And the scale is way off here. So I'll set it to, let's say, 0.5 to 1.1 maybe. That looks better. Yep, so let's try that. So I'm gonna start off by painting this middle part here. I'll just paint all across it, and I'll go ahead and... Actually, the scale might be a little bit off, especially for this middle part here. So I'll set it to 0.5 to 0.85 or something. Yeah, that looks way better. Cool. All right, so I'll just go ahead and paint this entire strip here. It's kind of hard to see now with unbaked lighting, but I'm just trying to keep inside of the this here strip in the middle. And I'll do a quick pass here on the side to make sure it doesn't spill out too much on the dirt here on the sides. Looks good. And I'll go ahead and stamp out some grass here on the sides. And now I can actually increase the size, since it doesn't really matter if it leaks out on the sides. And I'll do a quick